And British people, you need to wake up. You need to wake up and fight for this country. Wherever you have relocated, British people, please come back and fight for your country.
Has immigration made the UK stronger?
Absolutely. Because of immigration, the pound is one of the strongest currencies. And it's still going strong today because of immigration, because of migrancy. People are going into a country, making businesses. I understand. Look, people are going to be like, oh, hey, but what about these people? What about the groomers? I understand that. You're always going to find the bad amongst a group of people. That's with all races. You're always going to find that. All races. My thing is this. The majority is you are benefiting from these people coming to you and making businesses, paying tax towards you, feeding your nation. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you travel across the globe, you start to realize, yeah, we're actually doing well over here.
If there was no immigration, the standard birth rate of English families isn't sufficient enough to replace their parents. So like a two-parent household needs to have, I think it's like 2.5 or something like that parents to replace themselves. And that's not what's happening. The birth rate is lower than 2. So effectively, English people cannot replace themselves. So you need immigrants. And because of the immigrants doing the work, you were able to get to financial, economical point where the UK is like top 5, top 10 countries in the world. So
does immigration make the UK stronger?
Immigration has to be strict now because they have brought in many illegal people inside. Because I'll tell you, from immigration or from the borders or wherever, the solicitors have been taking bribe and they are getting their paperwork done. And that is how the people are able to come inside. In 10 years' time, before it was not like this. It was very strict. They used to ask all the documents, why you want to go to England, why you want to go to UK. But today, it's coming like a waste,
open border.
like a open borders and waste trash can. England, they have made it into a trash can. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can come inside. Yeah? So my point is, Home Office should be investigated because in Home Office the corruption is going on, and in the borders everything is being played by money power. And British people, you need to wake up. You need to wake up and fight for this country. Wherever you have relocated, British people, please come back and fight for your country. This country has allowed corruption in every department. NHS is suffering, police force is suffering. You need to investigate your Home Office. Who's taking bribe from under the table?
So legal immigration is cool. So if you have numbers down and quotas down, and you let enough people to come in, because I think, say for example, loads of African people move into an area and they have a different culture. It takes a lot of time for them to acclimatise into that culture. Right. So when they're doing things that are a bit different to what we're used to, you're going to stigmatise them. Right. And it's not their fault. It's the government's fault. End of the day, if I could go to another country now and get benefits and things to help me, I would go. Anything's a minority, people don't like it. Anything's different, people don't like it.
Is diversity our biggest strength?
And when you go to certain countries in Europe, let's say, and you see the lack of diversity, it's just the same stores all around, same stores. When you go to London, you will see this Indian shop, you will see this, and that creates economic growth, literally for the nation. But there are subtexts, there are bad sides to mass diversity.
Diversity is not a biggest threat, no. Because everybody, all over the world, people have come in and out of the country, every country they have been living. It should not be a threat at all, no. Diversity is good, but it's becoming a threat now.
Diversity of opinion for me is what diversity means. The most you can do by yourself is 100%, meaning the implication is that you need to collaborate with other people to go 120, and 100% is not enough. And that's how I see diversity. Someone that comes from a different background from me is going to be able to give me an opinion that I would not think about. I can't just have 100 me's doing the same thing.
Is too much diversity bound to cause cultural problems?
Yep. If you do it too fast and too much, then people don't have enough time to acclimatise into the culture they're living in, then racism will happen. So if you look at black people in the Windrush times, there was a small minority of black people that came to Britain, they acclimatised to the culture. If you're racist to a black person now, you're an idiot. Do you know what I mean? So that like it doesn't work that way.
I would rather live here than in Ghana
And why is that?
because there's a better quality in life here. And it hurts me to say that, but I know this. You know what happens when you do that? You lose your tradition, you lose your culture. I don't want to disrespect anyone's religion, but you start having mosques in Christian countries. You start having synagogues in Christian countries. You start creating things and integrating your own culture in another people's land. And me being African, I've experienced that. Well, not me per se, but my ancestors have experienced that. Do you know what I'm saying? We've experienced people coming in and indoctrinating the people and, superimposing their way of life onto another people. And that's where the divide starts happening.
Having like a multicultural society, do you think it's bound to cause problems?
Multicultural society is good, but when you respect whichever country you are staying, you need to respect the laws of the country, the values of the country, the culture of the country. You cannot come and bring your own rules and laws and try to impose it on that country where you have come to live. So you live with the respect of the country and you live in obedience to the laws of the country.
I feel like if there's too much diversity in England, the English people, the Normans, the Anglo-Saxons who are originally from here, and their godchildren, etc., which are some of the English people here today, I feel like they will lose the culture that they had from their ancestors, which is kind of peak because they were the original people of this land. So if there's too much diversity, I feel like the English people who are originally from here will lose their culture, which is not fair on them.
Should England be for the English?
Absolutely. It's your nation. Absolutely. If you are inviting the people, fine, no problem. But, and English people are not going to like this, you have a history of going across the globe, superimposing your way onto another people. You need to reap these repercussions of what your fathers did, your mothers did yesterday. That's the effect of it. Because when I used to live in Prague, they don't have these problems because they don't have the history that the British have. The British have been involved in 80% of violent affluence across the globe. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're bound to have diversity in your nation, just like America. Same thing with America.
I think England should be for the people that live in England. So that for me means the English. And now I think I would piss off a lot of English people by saying that, but that is just my outsider's perspective. Because I am someone who I have multiple backgrounds. I have parents that come from different cultures, and I've lived in a place that is even a different culture from that. And I rely on the acceptance on the people. I live in Japan, for example, so I want Japan to be a place that also considers me as a part of Japan because I also live there. I pay my taxes. I pay the pension that I'll never get, by the way. Or if I live where I'm from, I'm also not necessarily a native, but I care about how the country is. I care about my neighborhoods. I care about, what's going on where I live. It affects my life. So I think it should be for the people that are in there, and the people who are in there should be for the country.
Very difficult now to be English because you can't fly like an England flag or a Union Jack. It comes across as racist. Every other country around the world, it should be for the people, but there should be an element of diversity in that, but not to the extent of what, like, the country's taken over and you lose all sense of identity. And so English people now can't express their Englishness or their Britishness.
Should England be predominantly English?
England? No. It doesn't. English. This belongs to English people, the country. That is true, but they embrace every people. They are the ones who brought everybody inside. They are the ones who has given chance for everyone to come here and have a good life, good career, good opportunity. And if you ask me, which country in the world did not go through war? Every country has gone through wars, and whichever country was powerful, whichever country has overtaken that power, and that has happened because when a man gets into power, they will try to misuse it, and many of the rulers, political powers, they have misused their position and they have tortured the normal common people. Yes.
If you open up borders now because your ideology has failed you, what I mean by that is, if your agenda is to be liberal, to be Western, and do whatever you want as long as you don't harm anyone, you're not fostering a family unit. When you're not fostering a family unit, effectively, you're not recruiting people, your people, because that's what family is. You're making more of your people. If you're not championing that and you're championing other things, and now you have a deficit of people, and you need people to make things run, make things work, and now you bring in other people, you have an obligation now to those people because you failed at the first principle of like you're not keeping your people alive and well, and you're now indebted to the people who you need to come in and do the work that your kids and their kids should have been doing.
Do minorities need more representation in society in the UK?
It's not a necessity for the British. Remember, you're in someone else's home. So if you're allowed to exercise your tradition in someone else's home, and they're like, yeah, fine, you can do it, yeah, no problem. But you don't ask the English to be like, oh no, you must accept you must make our practice the norm. Don't ask the British to do that. Because you won't like that if they come to your home and do that. Because you've seen what that happens. It comes to colonization, enslavement, castration, land reform, and before you know it, your country's been changed.
Opportunity and career, what do you call, in the university they give you scholarship they give you. This country has embraced every faith, every religion, every black, brown, red, white, every human being they have embraced. But don't think the kindness of this country to be a weakness. Don't take it. This country can smack your backside and send you back from where you came. Yeah?
Do minorities need more representation in society?
I don't think the LGBTQ community should have any type of representation at all. In my opinion, I think their whole ideology, not people, ideology should be fully wiped out. But when it comes to like race, culture, etc., no, I think there should be a bright light on them.
Well, a lot of it is based on my personality. Like when you grow up as a woman in STEM, you kind of learn to detach the identity of the person to be able to have some sort of heroes, because it's all men. So you have to learn to detach yourself and see really the core of the person. But I say that, but later on I've started realizing, how much it would have meant to see myself represented a little more. So I do want to say yes, but on the hierarchy of representation, I feel like there's some more pressing issues than myself. So I'm just not that passionate about it in general, is my answer.